Pop culture. It's a vital piece of society that helps mold personalities and traits during our younger years and reminisce during the latter parts of our lives. Music, film, and sports are the basic building blocks of pop culture. Pop culture acts as a unifying catalyst in society. It pretty much surrounds modern society in every way possible, especially in this digital revolution that we're in. And with the ease of access today, content is being pumped out faster and faster every day. Hell, every year. See, each year there's upcoming artists pushing the boundaries of music, storytellers wanting to innovate and convey messages, and athletes who believe their time to take over is now. As we move on to a new decade, I wanted to look back at my favorite year for pop culture entertainment, one that I find to be the most memorable and groundbreaking to Western entertainment in the 2010s. This is 2016. What made that year most memorable to me was the music that came out that year. Music is something you can connect moments and situations in your life to. There were multiple great projects that came out from upcoming artists. For instance, Anderson .Paak had released his second studio album, Malibu. Led by the singles The Season / Carry Me and Come Down, an R&B album built on the foundation of hip-hop and classic R&B, infused with modern West Coast funk, which released in early January of that year, and later got him Grammy nominated for Best New Artist. But he would lose that Grammy to another hip-hop artist, Chance the Rapper. Coloring Book. Released as his third mixtape, it had conjured many people's attention in the music industry due to a multitude of reasons. Whether it was the heavily influenced from mentor Kanye West, continued consistency of great music from across the three mixtapes, or maybe even the multiple A-list talent on the project from the likes of Kanye West himself, Lil Wayne, Future, Justin Bieber, and many, many more. It was a great album. Chance was a shining artist ready to break through, and all he needed was to excel his music to brighter heights. And he did. Speaking about Kanye, this year was also the year in which Kanye West had released his project, The Life of Pablo. His first solo album since the experimental rock-like sounds of Yeezus. He had made significant changes throughout the year, making this project a very unusual release for an artist as large as Kanye West's caliber. Although it is Kanye West, so we can't question it too much, since he is, better for worse, a perfectionist. Even at its release, it was heavily praised for its gritty production, drawing inspiration from the older R&B. Some would even say that this is a Kanye compilation album, drawing sounds from his older projects like The College Dropout, Late Registration, 808s and Heartbreak, and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. This was Kanye at his very best, and was arguably his greatest creative work of the decade. On April 29th, Drake, a rising star in terms of the pop music world, had released his fourth studio album, Views. An album led by the singles Pop Style, Hotline Bling, and the most popular song of the summer, One Dance. Dedicated to the city of Toronto, the project draws inspiration from sounds of pop, nice R&B, and laid-back hip-hop. Upon its release, it was met with mixed reviews, as the sound is a lot more mellow and more introspective in an emotional sense. Pretty much a complete opposite to his previous project. If you're reading this, it's too late. Where we see Drake have a lot more confidence. Drake and insecurity have been a major criticized point made against him in past projects. If you're reading this, it's too late was the happy medium where he came out guns blazing, making it more cohesive and balanced. Views was Drake going overboard, getting overcome with emotion. This album felt more like a pop R&B album rather than a hip-hop project like it was marketed to be like. But nostalgia has pretty much made me put this album on a higher pedestal than it probably should be, because I predominantly listened to this album during my visit in Toronto for that summer. Biking through the city during a warm cloudy day while listening to West on Red Flows and Summer's Over interlude on repeat, It's just something I cherish very much from an album with very intimate tones and themes throughout. Although I loved Views, it wasn't my favorite album to come out that year. My favorite album was Blonde by Frank Ocean. Released towards the end of the summer, the album comes as Frank's second studio album, releasing only a day after his production that runs off fumes of intimacy and melancholy. When Blonde released, it had caught the world by storm, as his last studio album, Channel Orange, released in the summer of 2012. Over 4 years in between the two projects, something you rarely see from an artist of his caliber, especially coming off of the steam that his previous album had generated, winning 3 awards, including a Grammy Award for Best Urban Contemporary in 2013. With a lot of pressure on Frank's shoulders as the next big star in the scene, instead of producing an album a year after Channel Orange, he decided to take a break, a really long one too. See, in an age where the norm for an artist is to drop yearly, Frank decided to take a different route. He decided to experience. He decided to live before expressing it in his music. This album feels very close and personal. This feels like an outlet for his voice to be heard. He sees music as a diary and soul food. You'll have to listen to this album for yourself, as it is very hard to get into for the first couple of listens, especially coming off expectations for another funk-infused R&B project, like Channel Orange and Nostalgia Ultra. But the beauty and foundation are there. You'll just have to find it yourself through the pianos of Pink and White, the guitar solos of Self-Control, and the 10-minute culmination of the project in Future Free. Those 4 albums are what defined the year for me. Really, just great music from legendary artists. Of course, music is subjective, so let's not pretend that those were the only notable artists to release that year. Beyonce had released Lemonade, For Your Eyes Only by J. Cole, Awaken My Love by Childish Gambino, A Seat at the Table by Solange, 22 Million by Bon Iver, Anti by Rihanna, Starboy by The Weeknd, and many, many more. This year was one of the biggest pushes in the 2010s to put hip-hop and R&B in the forefront of pop culture. Personally, I don't really remember this big of a push since this year. I truly believe it was industry changing, and I'll always love it for the great music that came out of it. But as good as the music in 2016 was, sports gave us a lot of great moments for the history books. This is 2016 in sports. Where did I start? 2016 was the Summer Olympic year, becoming one of the most notable sports stories of the summer. And as customary, we saw the likes of Michael Phelps and Usain Bolt make groundbreaking stories. Michael Phelps coming out of his 2012 retirement and winning again, only to go back to retirement, and Usain Bolt winning a 3rd straight gold medal in a 100-meter sprint. But the most notable story of that year's Olympics was the rising star Simone Biles, leading the US women's gymnastics to multiple gold medals. The then 19-year-old gymnast won 4 gold medals, taking the sports world by storm in the summer. A solid and memorable Olympics, but it doesn't end there. In the NFL, Peyton Manning wins his 2nd Super Bowl in his final game in the NFL, going off into retirement on the top of the league. But the biggest news story in the NFL was the peaceful protests by Colin Kaepernick during the pre-game national anthem, starting in the preseason and quickly being a widespread controversial topic, and not only in the NFL, but in other leagues and other sports as well. The athletes that participated in the protest all had one common goal in mind: to start a conversation over police brutality and the killing of African Americans. Not only did Colin start the conversation, he ignited it like a firecracker and hitting everywhere outside sports.
Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Heated debates around a topic, drama, controversy, and the list goes on and on and on, further solidifying why the topic needed light shed on in the first place. And to this day, in 2020, we still have yet to see change in the system, but the fight lives on. This year was also the first time I've had any interest in the UFC. The reason? Conor McGregor.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
On August 20th, UFC 202, a rematch between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz took place in T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Conor won by decision in a 5-round slugfest between the two. This was really my first introduction to McGregor, and unironically probably the point in which he really made a name for himself outside the mixed martial arts world. Not only because of this fight, but also this interview from UFC 205, where he defeated Eddie Alvarez, receiving 2 belts and becoming the UFC's first simultaneous champion in 2 divisions. In the MLB, one of the biggest stories happened that year where the Chicago Cubs came back down 3-1 to the Cleveland Indians. Winning their first World Series championship since 1908. An amazing moment for Cubs fans in the city of Chicago. Although I don't follow baseball, I still saw this as a great underdog story for the Cubs. As for the city of Cleveland, yes, their team did essentially blow a major series, but let's not forget what happened to their other sports team, the Cleveland Cavaliers. See, as a basketball fan, this was a great time to be alive. This was the first time the NBA had held the All-Star game outside of the United States, bringing the biggest names in basketball to Toronto, Ontario, Canada, where we had a historic 3-point shootout with Klay Thompson being on top, an always welcome All-Star game between the two conferences, and the greatest slam dunk contest probably ever between Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine.
Mascot. Wait, let me see it. Okay, we're gonna see. Hey, listen, nobody lost that one. No, nobody lost that.
Nobody lost the 3-point shooting contest either.
Yeah, nobody lost.
This was also the last year in which Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, and Kobe Bryant would all compete in the NBA. Kevin Garnett ends his career where it started for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tim Duncan fights one more time in the playoffs. And on April 13th, Kobe Bryant goes out on his final game and scores an astonishing 60 points over the Utah Jazz.
I can't believe how fast 20 years went by, man. This is crazy. To be standing here at center court with you guys, my teammates behind me, and appreciating all this, the journey that we've been on. And all I can do here is just thank you guys. Thank you guys for all the years of support. Thank you guys for all the motivation. Thank you for all the inspiration. You guys will always be in my heart. And I sincerely, sincerely appreciate it. No words can describe how I feel about you guys. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. God, I love you guys. And I love you guys. And Mamba out.
Topping off the illustrious career of the Black Mamba. That same night that the 37-year-old scored 60 points, the Golden State Warriors capped their season off winning 73 out of the possible 82 games in the regular season, beating the record set by Michael Jordan's Bulls in the 95-96 NBA season. The Warriors' success didn't end there though. Their superstar point guard Stephen Curry becomes the league's first unanimous MVP. Yes, over the likes of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and LeBron James. In the playoffs, they dominate, and ultimately come back down 3-1 against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the Western Conference Finals, to advance to the NBA Finals to attempt to go back-to-back. Who would they face in the NBA Finals? Again, the LeBron James-led Cleveland Cavaliers. In the finals, the Warriors come blazing out of the gate, winning 3 of the first 4 games of the best-of-7 series, giving LeBron James and the Cavaliers a run for their money. Typically, teams leading 3-1 in the NBA Finals are 32-0 in closing out the series. And looking at this, there's no possible way this Warriors team, with an 89% winning record in an 82-game regular season, while having both the unanimous MVP and Coach of the Year on the team, would somehow lose, right? The Cleveland Cavaliers pull out a historic comeback, tying the series 3 games apiece, resulting in a Game 7 to end it all. This game, in this particular series, with all the drama surrounding it, became one of the best, if not the best game in the 2010s. Defensive stops, heartbreaking daggers, lapse of judgment. The pressure was on for both teams. For the Golden State Warriors to finish the job for a 4th straight game with a world-class coach, team, and management around them. And for the Cleveland Cavaliers to make history in front of a packed hostile Oracle Arena in Oakland, California. This is it, the final game of an otherwise roller coaster of a basketball season. This is a moment in history.
Iguodala to Curry, back to Iguodala, up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the rejection. Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. He stutter steps. He launches at 3. Hey! Nailed it!
The Cavaliers did it. They become the very first team to win the NBA Finals while trailing 3-1 in the series. The 1 in 32-1. Not only that, this title broke Cleveland's 52-year championship drought, winning their last major sports championship in 1964 with the Cleveland Barons. The championship victory didn't only end up rewriting history, it ended up writing the NBA's entire future. The Warriors, after getting ridiculed, roasted on, and absolutely trashed on, thought they would need some retooling with their roster, and so they did. And this moment would become one of the most shocking moments in NBA history. On July 4th, 2016, amidst all the NBA free agency debacle, 2014 NBA MVP and 7-time NBA All-Star Kevin Durant, arguably the greatest player in the league, signs with the Warriors on a 2-year deal, changing the landscape for the next few years, getting drowned in criticism and hatred, and making the Warriors an NBA powerhouse. And with that, The rest is history. This year was a legendary year for sports. Probably the only year I was so invested and entertained in multiple other sports other than basketball. One of the most entertaining years for sports that I could remember. From celebrations of greatness and wild stories of underdogs. Speaking of wild stories, Donald Trump running for president? Anyone?
Oh, look at my African American over here. Look at him. Are you the greatest? You know what I'm talking about? Okay.
As with every year, a slur of memes and jokes were expected to come out of it, and with the help of the rise of social media, specifically Twitter, where a lot of actual funny banter happens, and not just some shit from 9gag. Now, if I were to ask you, what meme would you attach that year? Yes, Harambe. And with every meme comes a meme story. May 28th, 2016, Cincinnati Zoo. A 3-year-old boy climbs in a gorilla enclosure at the Cincinnati Zoo and was grabbed by Harambe. Scared of the safety of the child, a zoo worker had shot and killed Harambe in broad daylight. The killing was caught on video and was uploaded online for everyone to see. International news coverage was spread worldwide, and talk was in the town on who should be at fault. The zookeepers? The mother of the child? Everyone was raising questions. But as soon as the internet caught wind of the story, it quickly turned into a widespread meme. Already rightfully calling the gorilla a legend. And, well...
Hey, dicks out for Harambe.
Dicks out for Harambe, the year's most controversial meme happened. Was it ethically good to have a dead gorilla to be the poster child for meme culture of the year? Sure, and oh, it didn't just happen. It took over. Yes, for nearly the entirety of the summer. Everything on Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, 9gag. Every corner was just Harambe for probably 3 or 4 months of that year. Not only taking over the year, but the entirety of the summer as well. Speaking about the summer, the most groundbreaking mobile game since what, Flappy Bird, had taken over the summer. Pokemon Go. On July 6, 2016, Pokemon Go was released on iOS and Android, and immediately upon release, it took over the world. This game was so huge around the globe that even the bloody news, had to get into it.
Pokemon Go. We know a lot of you downloaded it over the weekend. It was one of the most popular and lucrative video games back in the 90s. Now, a new edition has become a massive hit for Nintendo.
Break-ins, trespassing, viral videos, mass swarms of people flooding the streets of major cities like Chicago, Santa Monica, Washington, and of course New York, where this crazy video came from. It was so big that even then, Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton had to step in and make an absurd statement about it.
I don't know who created Pokemon Go, but I'm trying to figure out how we get them to have Pokemon go to the polls.
Not the best video, but oh well. The hype around the game really fell off after the summer, and I haven't really played it since then myself. Looking at these statistics, it has dropped significantly since its release to the end of 2016, from nearly 30 million active daily users to around 7.5 by the end of the year. It of course still has its dedicated fan base, but I don't think it will or can ever get to those heights again, in both active users and pop culture relevancy. To talk about pop culture also means to talk about societal aspects as well. And what speaks more about society than politics? And boy, was politics big this year, to say the least. Let me start. I was apolitical at this point, but when I had seen that Donald Trump had been running for the Republican Party's nominee, yes, that Donald Trump from WrestleMania 23, where he got a stunner from Stone Cold Steve Austin live on stage. I was absolutely gutted with amusement. I thought that no way he would get the nomination, let alone win against a Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton, the wife of former President Bill Clinton, who eventually ended up as the Democratic Party's nominee. See, both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are very controversial figures in the media. Both have had shady pasts, and both have had major allegations thrown their way. But when I saw these two debate each other, it was nothing but shocking dramatized entertainment.
Putin, from everything I see, has no respect for this person.
Well, that's because he'd rather have a puppet as president of the United States.
No puppet.
And it's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit
No, you're
that the
puppet.
Russian.
I don't know Putin. He said nice things about me. If we got along well, that would be good.
You know what? It's no different than this. She's telling us how to fight ISIS. Just go to her website. She tells you how to fight ISIS on her website. I don't think General Douglas MacArthur would like that too much. The enemy, everything you want to do.
No, we're not.
See, you're
No,
telling
we're
the
not.
enemy everything you want to do. No wonder you've been fighting. No wonder you've been fighting ISIS your entire adult life.
Well, that's go to the fact checkers. Get to work.
I will release my tax returns against my lawyer's wishes when she releases her 33,000 emails that have been deleted. As soon as she releases them, I will release my tax returns, and that's against my lawyers. They say don't do it. For are the 33,000 emails that you deleted and that you acid washed. And then the 2 boxes of emails and other things last week that were taken from an office and are now missing. You called it the gold standard. You called it the gold standard of trade deals. You said it's the finest deal you've ever seen.
No, but when it was negotiated, which I wrote about that.
So is it President Obama's fault? Is it President Obama's fault?
Even announced. Look, there
Secretary, is it President Obama's fault? But you have no plan.
Oh, I do.
Secretary, you have no plan. Her website. She's going to raise taxes $1.3 trillion. And there's nothing crazy about not letting our companies bring their money back into their country.
So there is.
You're wrong.
No, I'm not.
Murders are up. All right, you check.
Because they were not attractive enough for
I did not
them
say
to be
that.
assaulted.
I did not say that.
In fact, he went on to say.
But did not say that.
Donald supported the invasion of Iraq.
Wrong.
That is absolutely
wrong.
Proved over and over again.
I had never seen this much randomness in a presidential election. Donald Trump ultimately won the presidential race, and even that was in major controversy.
The United States, President Obama is the ex-president.
Winning more electoral votes but losing the popular vote by nearly 3 million votes was something in the media that never really got away. Donald's approach to this campaign was very unique and shocking to say the least. From his Twitter account and baiting multiple jokes from around the internet really pushed him in the forefront of the modern politician, and in turn, the forefront of the United States of America. To some, they may see this as just another year in the bucket. Others, they see it as the worst year they've ever endured. And I really can't say anything to that. We all have different experiences and opinions about things. And to me, this was my favorite year when it comes to pop culture entertainment. Hell, there was a lot of things I didn't even cover this video, like the movies that came out this year, the shows that came out this year, and many, many more. There was just something special about that year. It was the most stress-free I've ever been in my entire life. And that summer, especially that sweet summer, was more memorable to me than any year preceding and succeeding it. Maybe it was living in Toronto for a few weeks, or the hours spending a hot summer day trying to catch a Bulbasaur, or the celebration in sports, or the memes that came out of that year. Everything just fell into place perfectly to give me the best experience in my life at that point. And really, it might be all downhill from here. See, as I grow older, I appreciate my younger years even more. The idea of a relaxed life fueled by the enrichment of freedom is something that seems unrealistic today. The nostalgia of my younger years still give me hope to maybe, just maybe, live a more exciting and fulfilling life again. Just like in the year 2016.
With half a minute to play, Bryant for the lead! Yes! Bolt stretching out now. He's coming after him. He's immortal now. Usain's done it. Gatlin challenge for the silver medal. 9.80. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship. The national champions. And Jenkins hitting the winner at the buzzer.
Stay down. Final warning.
Don't you get up, bro? Stay down.
If you get up, knock his faggot ass back down.
NBA season coming down to one final quarter to decide a champion. 12 minutes, man. 12 minutes.
I could do this all day.
God. Oh!